Welcome back, everyone, to the Brain Soul Success Show. I'm really excited to be with my friend Debbie here. Debbie and I have known each other for about 15 years, and this is our little series called Quantum Shifts. It's client journeys with Brain Soul Success. Because so many people ask us all the time, hey, tell us more about, the success stories that you've had with your system. It's pretty amazing what you do in those webinars, but we want to hear more. And so we're like, okay, let's do more. So thank you, Debbie, for being with us today. I
You're
love
welcome.
you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I love you so much. I have to tell you, Debbie's amazing. Debbie's a certified biofeedback therapist and specialist. She's also a certified brain soul success coach and a licensed spiritual healer. And I know that you love learning just like I do. And all of these tools that we learn, and when we can learn new ones, we're so excited, right?
Yes. Yes, it fills us up.
It does. Well, it's so great to be with you today. Let's give people a little bit of a peek though. I think when did I meet you? It was like
Well,
10 or
it
15 years ago.
it was probably closer to 20 because you were teaching biofeedback classes and I was
Uh-huh.
taking them from you. That's how I met you. And then from there, I did some one-on-one sessions with you, and then I took some more classes from you. You worked with my grandson. And then we just kind of have evolved from there. I've I've been involved in your programs for years. I've done personal sessions with you, and I've also been in your frequency groups, which I've loved.
Yes,
So,
yes, it has been quite a journey. But let's ask you this question. What was life like before, we started working together? Look back.
as I look back at the things and kind of how things progressed, I always felt better when we worked together. When I had a session with you, I always felt lighter, felt a release of things, felt better. Um, and then and then I would need it again, right? And then
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those things, right? And the frequency groups were great, but I think it wasn't until my life changed in a big way and my husband passed away in
Mm-hmm.
2020.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I went to a boot camp that you put on about 6 months after he passed away. And my life just really wasn't in a good spot. I
Mm-hmm.
was so overwhelmed with responsibility for our businesses, our farm, our family, all of the things. I had lost my best friend, my soulmate. It was a very difficult time. Things were heavy, and there was just so much grief and loneliness. Um, I went to your boot camp and it was a 2.5 day event. And at the end of, or on Sunday afternoon, I got this very strong voice in my ear. If you want to change, you need to do this work. Do this work and it'll change your life. Do this
Mm-hmm.
work every day and it'll change your life. And I couldn't deny that. It was so
Mm-hmm.
strong of a voice. It was just, it was like I had to say yes. I knew that where I was in life isn't where I wanted to be, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to change. But after that weekend, I'm like, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what's going to help me propel forward. And it has been life changing to be in your programs, to be in the mastermind program, and now a certified coach, where I get to help other people shift and change. But it has changed my life in every possible way, in my personal life, in my business life, in my coaching life, my family. I've been able to help not only myself, but my family members too, who were going through the same thing. And there is nothing that you can't clear.
I
And
know. That's
I
what I
think,
love about that. I was so proud of you. I just have to say, when you said yes to yourself, because I was like, this is such a hard time for Debbie. And we were doing personal sessions. We were working
yeah,
on this because you
yeah,
were grieving, you were going through a hard time.
it was a
And
very hard time.
and yet what I've always known is when you do it yourself,
Yes.
God helps those who help themselves. That's why
Yes.
turn this all into teaching rather than just working with people. I do both, but
Mhm.
that's what I love. And I'm so proud of you because, wow. And share with us. I mean, there have been big changes for you in your life and your family. I
Huge
mean,
changes. I mean, huge
yes,
changes. I mean,
yes.
I am so much more confident and I have so much more clarity. Um, our business is doing so much better. And my son is managing the business, and I do all the financial things, the contracts, all the things like that. We make a good team, and I'm so grateful that he is doing such a great job. But our whole family has changed. My personal life has changed. And now I know when a challenge comes up, let's say, and
Mhm.
it does. I mean, we live in a life full of challenges. We can clear it. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. We can clear
Yes.
it. And I work with my kids, I work with my grandkids, and I feel so empowered. I think that's the message I'd like to get out is I feel so empowered that I don't have to wait for a month or 2 months to have a session with you. Like I can clear it on the spot that day.
You know what? Describe what clearing means, because I'm not sure everybody listening here will really understand the depth of brain soul work, right? Like
Yeah,
it's hard
that's
to
it.
explain. You almost have to feel it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's hard to explain.
mhm,
Okay, I'm just going to give an example. Let's say that there's a issue in your family. Let's say people aren't talking. There's just been a misunderstanding. There's an issue. People aren't getting along. One of the things that you teach in your program is how to do a soul tie box.
mhm,
And so in that, um, you use your intuition and you work to create a goal or an intention of what the person wants to create for themselves. But the other thing that you do is you figure out what or who is standing in the way of them reaching their goal.
mhm,
And it is so powerful because it's customized for each person.
mhm.
The strings are the things that pull you away from your goal. And it could be an ancestral blockage. It could be limiting beliefs from when you were a teenager and somebody said something to you and that's still in your head. I
Mhm.
mean, there are so many possibilities. It could be, you know, um, somebody's energy that's in your system, in your energy field that doesn't support you. And the clearings then help. And by the clearings, I mean Dr. Louise teaches a system where you use um, energy codes and circles, I'm going to say, on in your energy field to
Mhm.
clear what's blocking it. And I have seen so many shifts in myself, in my family, in my clients. It is mind blowing. It is mind blowing. And I feel like the longer I do the work,
Mhm.
the better I am at finding those things that are blocking, and
Those
helping
core
people to
issues.
release the
Yes.
traumas
Yes,
that
the
they don't
traumas
even
and the
know
core
that they
issues.
have. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's oftentimes things come up from their childhood, something at age 5, something at age 17. It'll be ancestral energy on the mom's side of the family that is never been resolved and it
Mhm.
keeps going from generation to generation. And we have the tools to clear that.
I
And
know,
it is
and
so
fast too.
empowering.
I know, isn't it
Fast.
empowering? And it's so fast. That's what I love. And I know you've helped your grandkids recently get jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
so awesome. And so tell us
Uh-huh.
that story real quick.
Well, my grandson graduated college and he is in sports marketing and he wanted to get a job at a professional basketball team. So he did he we did some clearings. Anyway, long story short, he was able to get an internship. So the internship was for a year, and then at the end of the internship, then he had the opportunity to work full time for them. And so I told him, I said, "Hey, let's sit down and do a soul tie box the day before you have
Mhm.
your interview, and let's just clear anything that's in the way." We did
Mhm.
a deep dive clearing. I think we had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 strings that we cleared. And he was very good at articulating what he wanted to achieve for himself.
Mhm.
I was so proud of him for being, just out of college, like he knew exactly what he wanted. So he did this big clearing. He had his interview. Then he got called back for a second interview, and then he had a third interview. And so it was after his third interview, he thought he would hear something like the next day, and it didn't happen. So I checked in with him and I said, "Hey, I'm just checking to see how are things going? Have you heard anything?" And he said, "No," but he said, "You taught me how to do the positive points and clearings, and I just sat here and I did positive points and clearings." And he goes, "I feel better and I feel really positive." And then he goes, "You're not going to believe this." He goes, "It wasn't 30 seconds later after I did that and I got the phone call that I got the job."
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
I mean, it's just
Yay.
amazing. Like
Right?
you can use it for everything, anything,
Y
anything. And I think this whole being in this program and just, working with you and learning all these things, it's made me so much more aware of how much control we have with things that happen in our life.
Mm.
Instead of things happening to us, it'll be it's switching it around to where we're in control of what's happening.
Yes.
There's always going to be things that come up,
Sure.
right? That are hard or a disappointment or something that happens. But to be able to clear the energy around that and open up for new possibilities, because oftentimes the possibilities that come to us are even better than we could have ever imagined for ourselves.
Absolutely, and so it's being in that flow, right? It's being in an alignment
Yes.
in a lot of ways. What
Yes.
advice would you give to others who may feel stuck, or unsure about either doing this work or just stuck in their life?
I think we've all been in that place where we're stuck
Mhm.
and trying some things and maybe they didn't work. But I can tell you with 100%, 1,000% conviction that the brain soul success system works. It works every time. It works easy. It's not hard to learn. You use a lot of your intuition, which people often say, "Well, I don't have intuition." Well, we all have it. We just
Mhm.
haven't used it, so it really helps develop it. I would just say believe in yourself and believe in the system because the process works. And
Mhm.
I've never seen anybody go through your program and if they did the work, that
Mhm.
they didn't learn at the end how to change their life.
I know, that's what I love about this too, Debbie. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that, is because I'm very picky about that, I will say. I like big transformation.
Hmm.
I mean, I want to help impact more lives in a bigger way because I'm watching so many people. I'm very intuitive, just like you are. And we see the struggles that people have, and they don't have to struggle. If
Hmm.
you learn the tools and you can feel empowered, what'll happen is your intuition will raise. And when
Yeah.
your intuition raises, you can check in with yourself, and that awareness is there. And I can almost tell when I start with a new client that the awareness isn't there.
They're just so
They're
used to being in their
Yeah, they're
head
not they're in their head,
and not
not
in their heart.
not in their heart.
Hmm.
Um, and when you listen to your heart and you follow it. So I remember years ago, even when I started biofeedback, I thought, wow, I should make a bumper sticker that says, the path to healing anything is following your intuition and trusting it.
I like that.
Isn't
That's
that good?
perfect. That's perfect.
Because that's really what it's about. And so what happens when you're in the system and you clear enough of your own blocks and your own ancestral programs, and it's like layers of an onion kind of peeling, you
Hmm.
become so strong within that intuition and within yourself that there's an inner knowing. And when you follow that inner knowing on a daily basis, you're in the flow.
Hmm.
So this is 10 times deeper than somatic work. This is 10 times deeper than meditation. I love it all. And I'm saying do all that stuff if you do it. You got to use all the tools, right? That's
Yep.
fine.
Use all
That's
the tools.
great.
Yep.
That's great. But if
Hmm.
you're really stuck and you've got that, or you want to, build a bigger business, you're here and you're listening and you're stuck. I see a lot of healers who don't have the confidence to charge for their work. They want to help people and they have great tools and amazing, they're amazing people, but they don't have a system that they can use, and it's not been solidified enough for that they can really get out there the way they want,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so we're here to help that. Yeah.
It's hard to explain how many different avenues of your life that this can help with, because
That's true.
it's just like there are so many ways that it helps, personally, professionally, your family. I mean, just on and on and on. And tuning into yourself to define what it is that you want to create for yourself,
Mhm.
not just wishy-washy of affirmations, but really the life you want to create.
Yes.
And knowing that you can clear those blockages, and those traumas. Yeah, it's so powerful.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you said there's so many areas because when I started this whole program, years ago, I was literally practicing with all of my clients at Albuquerque Natural Health Center, right? That was my first business. And I started to see that when I did all these pieces together, that they would change more and it would stick. And I was always wanting it to stick. I didn't want them to come back with the same emotional problem,
Hmm.
right? And so I was doing more naturopathy then, but I was also working on emotions and their spiritual body too. And I started blending all the things that I was learning. And what I really saw was we have to have it be a multi-sensory program for it to stick. And so, if you're going over here to your chiropractor and here to your acupuncturist and here to your spiritual teacher and here to your nutritionist and you're doing all those pieces, if you're doing all those pieces and they're scattered, they're a week apart, they're 2.5 weeks apart, it takes someone longer to heal. So in the beginning, it was a healing process, right? It was healing the physical, mental, emotional body. And then what we started to find, like Debbie just said, is we can use some of these clearing tools and these processes for other areas of your life, your personal life, right? You're stuck. You want to lose weight, and you're like, okay, what's in the field? What's in the energy field that's blocking me? I'm changed my diet. I'm doing my hypnotherapy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. What's still blocking me? You can
Hmm.
shift the field and then you'll start to see results. That's personal. But I didn't know it worked on other things like selling houses. you know, I just think that's the funnest thing in the world. I almost want to grab some realtors and go, do you know how gold this would be for you? Um, because we've cleared houses to sell. This year is particularly a house year. I don't know why. But three houses, actually four now, I think, sold. We did a soul tie box and cleared, and this a son of a client, the house sold for 10,000 more. So that was the first one that I
Amazing.
did. And then the property that we cleared that they wanted, they ended up getting a different property. They wanted land, the mom and the son were going to buy this land, and they really liked this land. And so we cleared the land, and then they ended up finding another property. But the land that we did the big clearing on, they came back to them recently and said, "Okay, we'll want to work with you." Well, they already bought this other property because we cleared it. And then when we did another client's house, and she's an older woman, had an expensive, beautiful house to sell. It was a $1.1 million house. And I said, you know what, let's clear it. You're going to get in bidding wars on this house. I can just feel it. And sure enough, she had two offers that were over asking price. The first one came in at 50,000 more, and the second one at 350,000 more.
Whoa.
I mean, like, where does that happen, right? But we cleared the energy. Now, if we didn't do that, would that same thing happen? We don't, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know. However, I have sort of a good gut feeling that that's
Yes.
probably true, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what you're meaning by it can be used for so many different areas. You helped your
So
grand
many different things.
so
Yeah.
many different things. You don't have to feel stuck. How
Yeah.
empowering it is for, not to feel stuck. Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
also want to just shift the conversation here because you are a brain soul success coach, and I appreciate all the work that you do with all of our people. So Debbie's amazing, you guys. She's got these tools down, and she also does neurobiofeedback with people too. So that's how we first met. But you are juggling a lot of things, and we want to know how you're doing that because you have a biofeedback business, you're a brain soul success coach, you have your own farm business, right? And
Hmm.
you have goats and a farm.
Hmm.
So how, and parents, mom and kids and grandkids and family. And so how does Debbie juggle all that?
It is challenging. I mean, I know for a fact 100% I wouldn't be able to do the juggling that I do without the tools that I use. And with Dr. Louise's program, I made a commitment to use the tools, the energy work tools, every single day. And it's just part of my get up in the morning. I do them first thing in the morning, clear
Mhm.
my energy. Whatever I want to achieve for that day, I do it. And it has made such a huge difference because it is a lot. I mean, we have a business where we sell equipment, agricultural equipment, and that takes a lot of time.
Mhm.
From We have a farm, we sell grass-fed beef, so we've got beef orders and all the things that go with that. I have my biofeedback business, so I do a lot of juggling, and
Yes.
and sometimes some days I'm not going to lie, some days I pull my hair out. But you know what? These tools have helped me to create the path that I choose to spend my life doing and the things that I want to spend my time on. Um, and to clear the energy for the things that were blocking me or making me crazy that day, whatever it was. And
Mhm.
it has made such a huge difference. I'm left-handed, but I grew up in a right-handed world and I'm ambidextrous. And I say that
Nice.
that's part of the reason I can juggle so easy is because I can shift from one to the other, the left to the right very easily. And I've done that for years but the tools have really helped me so much to be more organized, more spatially aware of what needs to be done. And, the intuition and the clarity, because before I started using the tools, sometimes I had the hardest time figuring out, like, where do I need to focus my energy on today? Or
Mm,
what clarity, you come to a fork in the road, do you need to go left or right?
right.
And to
Mhm.
make those choices and make them with a positivity,
Mhm.
and muscle test, which gives us it's a tool to go into our unconscious mind and kind of have that help support us along the way. I used all these tools and it has made such a huge difference for everything.
I can see you. I can see you using them. I feel it. I watch you. What are some of
Mhm.
you and the fact that you have them, you're right. Where would we be without the tools? I do them too every day. I don't know where I would be without
Yeah, yeah, I'm
without
so grateful.
without these tools. And I'm also grateful because I've taught my kids. Well, my
Mhm.
kids are in their 30s now, and my daughter has my grandson, so he's about 15 months. And when there's issues there, she will sometimes text me and even just say, "Hey, mom, did I clear everything? Did I get it?" Right?
Uh-huh.
She
That's
wants to
great.
check to see if she got it. So she knows these too, so she can stay more balanced during being a busy mom.
Hmm.
Right? Every day's still different,
Every
right?
day's different.
Every
Yep.
day's different.
Yep.
We're human, we're
Yep.
humans on this planet.
Yep.
We're gonna have challenges, but how empowering it is to be able to shift it, when you need to. What are some of your favorite tools that you do every morning?
So I set an intention, whatever my affirmation is, and then I use positive points and clearings, which is
Mhm.
again using the codes, the energy codes and the circles that Dr. Louise's teaches. And I do a mini plus plus integration. And then depending, sometimes I'll add in the wealth codes. Sometimes I'll use the vibrational reset. I usually muscle test to figure out what I need, and
Mhm.
then I use that. I also do mind gems every day, which is there are 12 I guess, energy system codes that work on different parts of the body, but they work on the brain rings and they work to support your emotions.
Mhm.
Like if you're feeling anger or frustration, you can clear that. If you're feeling, I, I whatever. So all these things work together
Yes.
um, to help. I do all this while I'm doing my red light therapy so I can multitask. Um,
Okay.
that's just how I do it. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I notice, I mean, I probably have not done this a year. Like if I'm out of town somewhere or something, I might, just have a crazy schedule. Maybe I can't do it. But literally, I have made that commitment. I get up every morning, I do it. And I think the reason why I'm so committed to it is I feel the change. I feel what it's done to my life. I
Mhm.
feel what it's done when you're completely frustrated and you're just having one of those days where things are not going the way that you planned. And
Mhm.
then to shift the energy around that. And I'm like, okay, this and this happened, but we're going to shift it and the rest of the day is going to be different.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
everything is energy. And that's a great example. Thanks for sharing that, Debbie. I know that I've used to shift the energy when my computers don't work.
Hmm.
I do a soul tie box and I just clear the energy and it comes back on, or something, or some virus program or whatever that's in there suddenly shifts it. Uh, so because everything is energy, so it's so powerful, right? For many things.
For many things. And one of the things you taught me years ago was, throughout the day, if you're feeling fatigued or frustrated or you're working on a project and it's just not going the way you want, just do some positive points and clearings. Set an affirmation, do it quickly. It takes 15 seconds and it'll shift the energy.
Yes, yes. I remember being in traffic in in Phoenix. We were in traffic as a whole family. We're in traffic in Phoenix, and we wanted to get back to the hotel because the pool was going to close. There was like they closed at a certain time in the evening, and we wanted to go swimming. It was our last night there on this little weekend vacation. And there's all this traffic as we're on the highway, and we're like, oh no, we're not going to get back for swimming in time. And I said, hey, you guys, let's just all do these codes. So my whole family is spinning their hand and doing these codes. And you know what? The sea, it was like a sea parting. The cars just parted. It was like, and then we were able to like go really fast. It was so fascinating. So yes, everything is energy, and you can use a lot of these tools for many, many, many things in your life. And I love you, Debbie, and I love how consistent you are and the example that you are for many people here listening. And so, if you're listening and you don't know the brain system yet, and you want to learn more about it, you definitely can. You can check out our website, and we've got different events coming up. Our event coming up soon here is our retreat in Carlsbad, California. So we'll be in California right on the beach teaching the miracle integration and a lot of these brain soul success tools. And then I have all kinds of classes and different webinars coming up too. And so just kind of check that out, and you're welcome to learn more, and or just email me. Just email me, reach out, if you want to, have a conversation. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. And then real simply right now for everybody, you know what? Just get a morning routine and an evening routine. Right? Everyone needs that. Okay. It's like an
Yes.
Oreo cookie sandwich, you guys. Okay. Do something in the morning, whether it's your stretching and your spiritual work or your prayer, whatever you do in the morning, do similar or something else at night, but come up with a routine that makes sense for you where you can get grounded. You can tap into that higher spiritual power. Okay. It could be hypnotherapy, meditation, whatever it is you're doing. Do that to start. Do the mind gems. Mind gems are just like a little freebie. Debbie's talking about them here. They work on the brain rings around the brain. We'll post the link here for you too, but they're on my website, louisewartzwalter.com. Do the mind gems every morning and every night. I do this every morning and every night, and I'm listening to hypnotherapy while I do them now.
Oh, that's
I've
great.
done them differently over the years because I've been doing this 20 years. Some years I was just saying my intentions while I did them. But now I'm doing this little hypnotherapy. So you can kind of shift things up a little bit, right? Be creative
Hmm.
within the tools. So do get your morning routine and your evening routine. And Debbie, you're just such a gift to the world. You're like
Oh, thank you.
you're
Thank you.
yeah, yeah. I know you were telling me the story where you were somewhere and some woman just came up to you, wanted to take your picture because your aura just shines, right?
I was in a restaurant and she was just sitting there having her lunch and she got up and she turned around and she's just like, "Oh, your aura is just beautiful." And she was an older white-haired lady, just beautiful herself. And I just said, "Thank you. Thank you."
Oh gosh.
I
Oh,
just want to thank you, Dr. Louise, for everything. You pour so much time and energy and effort into making sure that everybody on your team and in your community has what they need to be successful, and you support them in such a beautiful way. And I just want to thank you for giving me my life back.
well, you're
I
welcome.
can't thank you enough for all the things that I've learned from you and your mentorship and your friendship and your love. You just don't know how much it means to me, really.
Oh, I appreciate you too so much, Debbie. Thank you for sharing that. And I think you all can tell here if you're listening. I love my people like deeply. They become family. And Debbie's my sister for sure. So Debbie, thank you so much for sharing with us. Hey, what's next for you? What's another little goal or intention in your life? What do you want to be
Um,
doing?
I think I one of the things I've been attracting is to do with some more travel.
More travel? Okay.
Yeah, I've done I used to travel a lot for work many years ago, and I don't need to do that for work anymore. So now I want to travel for fun.
Oh, I love that. Okay, very good. Well, we're
Yeah,
going somewhere. Yeah, we're going to
yeah,
Canada and we're going to go to Italy.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I found someone who does retreats. I'm so excited. So, so we're going. Wow, and you guys are welcome to come with us. So if you're listening here, hey, watch for retreat information because that's coming up here too. So thank you so much for being with us today, Debbie. I love
Thank
you so
you.
much. And
Love you too.
remember, everyone, follow your heart, but take your brain with you.